We're here for our special shir, Shabbos Chalamoid, Pesach, for Shvi Shel Pesach. It's Thursday night, so as we know, if it's Thursday night, then the shir must go on. And now we're actually in the middle of the Yom Tov of Pesach, and being that Imir Hashem, this Shabbos, we're going to read Shir HaShirim. We read Shir HaShirim on Shabbos Chalamoid. And on Shvi Shel Pesach, we are going to read the Torah. The portion that we read in the Torah will be about Kriyas Yamsuf, Shiras Hayam. We're going to read that on Shvi Shel Pesach. So I was thinking it might be a nice idea to learn a little bit about this inyan of Shira. And there's a beautiful Nesivos Shalom that speaks about this concept and the subject of Shira, about song. And the Medrash tells us in Shemois Rabbah Chaf Gimel something very, very interesting. The Medrash says that from the day that Hashem created the world until the day that Klal Yisrael stood at the Yam Suf, we do not find that anyone besides up to that point, anyone until then, until Klal Yisrael sang Shira at the Yam Suf, we do not find that anyone sang Shira beforehand. And the Medrash goes through a list and says, Adam Arishain, we don't find that Adam Arishain sang Shira. Avram Avinu was saved at the Kivshan Ha'esh, right? And also the Torah doesn't tell us that Avram Avinu sang Shira. Avram Avinu did not sing Shira. Yitzchak Avinu, let's say Yitzchak was saved at the Akedah, and we don't find that there was any Shira that went on at that point. Yaakov Avinu had this tremendous struggle with a malach, right? We all know from the Torah, from learning the Parshias in the Torah, Yaakov Avinu had this tremendous struggle with the Sar Shel Esav. No Shira. Yaakov Avinu was actually saved from Esav. Also, no Shira. However, when it came to Kriyas Yamsuf, right away when they were saved at the Yamsuf, they broke out in song. And the Medrash tells us that when Klal Yisrael sang Shira at the Yam Suf, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. All these years, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for Shira. So it would seem that for sure that Shira is a tremendous, tremendous thing. So we need to understand, says the Nesivos Shalom, what is so great about Shira that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Hashem was waiting up to this point, that Hashem was waiting for the moment that Klal Yisrael would sing Shira. We also find that there's a Chazal. Chazal say that Kol ha'omer Shira b'chol yom, anyone who says Shira every single day, Zoiche v'oimra l'olam haba. Someone that says Shira, I'm assuming it means we daven, we say Shira Sayam. Someone that says Shira every day, that you'll be Zoiche v'oimra l'olam haba. You're gonna be Zoiche to sing Shira, or to say Shira, to get the exact words of Chazal. You're gonna be Zoiche to do that in Olam Haba. So it would seem that the one way to Olam Haba, a way to do something special and to get to Olam Haba, is through Shira, is through song. So what does that mean? And it's interesting to note, says the Nesivos Shalom, that we learn from a Mechilta. The Mechilta tells us that the downfall of Sancherev, we mentioned it actually in the Haggadah, right? The downfall of Sancherev would prompt a Shira like the Shira of Leil, his Kadesh Chag. like the night of the first night of Pesach, right? Hashir yiyelochem kilel his kadesh chag. It would be a shira like the first night of Pesach, right? Leila's Kadesh Chag refers to the night that the Pesach commences, the first night of Pesach. But 1 second, didn't we just say that until Shiras Hayam, until Shvi Shel Pesach, until then, there was no real Shira. So what does it mean? Ashir Yelachem, the Shir song will be for you like it was on the first night of Pesach, like it was on the Leil, his Kadesh Chag. I thought until Kriyas Yamsuf there actually was no Shir. So what is this Shir that we're referring to? We're saying you're going to have this special song, this special celebration like the first night of Pesach. What exactly does all of this mean? So Nesivos Shalom explains, and he says like this, that the Shira that Klal Yisrael sang at the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim was not a shira as we know it. Was not a shira that was sung with your voice. It's not a shira that was done with your mouth. It was a different type of shira when they left Mitzrayim. And when we refer to a shira, Kelelis Kadesh Chag, at the beginning of Pesach, we refer to a shira that is a shira from one's neshama, not a shira with your voice. When they left Mitzrayim, says in Nesivos Shalom, Klal Yisrael sang shira, but it was a shira from the neshama. At that time, it was Yetzias Mitzrayim. They were going out of Mitzrayim. It was Korban Pesach and everything else that came along with that. So that prompted an internal shira, a shira of the neshama. That's one madrega of shira, and that is the shira that we're referring to by the downfall of Sancherev, Hashir Yiyelochem, Kelel His Kadesh Chag. It's talking about that we would be prompted to sing a shira from our neshama, that our neshama would sing out a thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It doesn't say Kashir Leil His Kadesh Chag. It says Hashir Yiyelochem Kelel His Kadesh Chag, just like the shira was by the Yetzias Mitzrayim, where they sang from their neshama. It would be this type of shira when when we would see the downfall of Sancherev. It was not a regular audible shira as we know it. It was a shira that sprang outward on its own. But once we say that, we need to understand that there are different levels of shira. First of all, there's a shira in one's mind, where one is overjoyed and you understand something. That's one level of shira, says in the Nesivos Shalom, where we sing out in our minds, where we understand that something good is happening. A step up from that is a shira of the heart. That's a step up. It's not just in your mind, but it's in your heart. There's a certain feeling where you your heart burst forth with song. And then there is the higher level of shira, and that is a shira of your evarim, where your whole body is taken over by the joy and the understanding of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing for you, where libi uvisari yiranenu el kel choy, where your heart, where your every limb of your body is overjoyed and overtaken and overcome with gratitude, that now it becomes, not only does it play out in your mind and in your heart, but it plays out where all your limbs, the physical parts of a person, begin to sing. And that was the shira. That was so special about the shira of Kriyas Yamsuf. The shira of Kriyas Yamsuf was that highest level of shira where every part of the person, their limbs, were singing. So the shira came forth from their mouth. Their mouth sang out a shira because it had already saturated their mind and their heart, and now every part of their body was full of shira, and gratitude. That moment, and we could try to think about this thought for a moment. There is that moment when a person understands that everything that I didn't understand before, everything that was going on in my life, everything that transpired over the past few years or decades or many years, everything, and all of a sudden we see it in front of our eyes that everything that Hashem has been doing for us was one big chesed v'rachamim. And that was that moment at Kriyas Yamsuf, where Klal Yisrael saw that the hundreds of years and the previous years and everything that they went through in Mitzrayim and all the trials and tribulations and Nisyonis, everything that went on in Mitzrayim, everything was Chesed Hashem. And that's a tremendous shira, something that every one of us could actually try to reflect and think about and look back and understand that there is a moment that we will see and we should see that everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done to us and for us is Chesed v'Rachamim. And that says the Rav HaKodesh Mi'apta Zechusi Yogan Aleinu, the Apta Rav, that the Tachlis of the Bria, one of the purposes of the entire creation is to where a person is happy with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where a person understands and sees and opens their eyes and internalizes and thinks for a moment how much good Hashem is doing for you. I didn't understand it. It was so hard to understand. We went through so much. We go through so much. Every person on their own level. But the Aptaruv tells us that one of the highlights of the Bria is when a person is actually understands and is happy with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when Mashiach comes very, very soon, we know that events around the world, the wheels are turning, things are happening. Mashiach is on his way. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of a few more things of us speaking a little less Lashon Hara, of us taking away a little more of that sinas chinam, doing the things, the big things and little things that we need to do to bring Mashiach. When Mashiach comes soon, we're going to sing a shir chadash to Hashem, because we're going to look back over our gullus and all the troubled times and all the things that we're going through. We're going to see Tihilasoi b'kahal chasidim yismach Yisro be'oisav, where Klal Yisrael is going to be happy with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done for us in the past. And we're going to understand and be happy with everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing for us. And that was Shiras Hayam. And we begin the lesson of song this Shabbos when we read Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, the tremendous amount that is in, if we study the Shir HaShirim, we study the words, there's so much nistar, there's so much hidden in those words that tells us about the beauty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the relationship of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Klal Yisrael, where we begin to get to that understanding that everything in the past and everything that Hashem does for us is really, really for the best. And if a person sits and thinks about it, so many times in your life, you find that just at that crossroads, just when you thought everything was lost, just when you thought that everything has hit rock bottom, that it can't be good and it can't ever turn out well, it's dafka that point that Hashem was doing the biggest chesed for us. And that's the lesson we're learning from Pesach. The lesson we're going to learn from Shabbos Chol Hamoed, from a Shir HaShirim, where we sing not just from the mind, not just from the heart, where the shir, the song bursts forth from every one of our limbs, where we feel that we have to sing with our voice because we understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so good to us. He's watching over us. Nisim every day, the tremendous Nes in Yerushalayim just a couple of days ago, where someone could run a car and somebody pull out a gun and nothing works. Nothing works because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on our side. And we sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we say thank you. And we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we should say every day, everything you do for us, we thank you because it's all chesed v'rachamim. Wish everyone a good moed, a good Shabbos Chol Hamoed, and a good Yom Tif for the last days of Pesach.